No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
And hello, this is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor, and we're at it again today. But it's the TGIF. So thank God it's Friday day. I always like Fridays when they come along. Fridays are supposed to be my days off. I take one day off during the week, and Friday is it. Sometimes Monday. It just depends on how busy I am in my schedule, how fast it's going, or how slow it's going. I tell you, this morning I got up to review content for the show, and as I was browsing through it, I use Flipboard. I don't know if you know what that is, but Flipboard, you can download. Well, not download, but you can bring into your Flipboard, the page you set up, content such as business or politics or weather or whatever subject that you want to bring into your personal Flipboard, you can do that. So I have it all set up for podcasting and business and accounting and real estate, just so that I'm getting all these news articles coming into me. And so I have content for you guys to talk about in the morning. But this morning I was just looking at it, and I thought, my gosh, this is nothing but propaganda. A lot of propaganda. A lot of nonsense. A lot of bloggers who are giving their opinion, but factually are so far off base because they have allowed their political agenda to shine through. And I probably do that often also in my podcast. Sometimes my political views shine through. But you look at it and you read it and you try to comprehend everything that is out there, and everybody has an opinion about everything. And I've had to go through this morning and just kind of block people who are presenting these ideas, because they're just so unfounded. They are really not thinking about what they're saying. Instead, they are writing with emotion. And when they write with emotion on business, you can pretty much say that emotional feeling is probably not a business feeling. They haven't taken a look at what's happening in their communities and everything else. There's one guy on YouTube who produces this automobile show. And the problem is when he states his fact about, because he lives in a certain city, in a certain state, and he looks at that only in the eyes of where he is living. He's not looking at what is happening on the national scale. Some places it's worse. Some places it's okay. Some cars are sitting on the lot 220 days. In other neighborhoods, it might be, or other states and cities, it could be 70 days or 60 days. But the way that he presents it is, this is the way the automotive market is, and this is why everybody's failing out there. Instead of looking at the market throughout the nation and who's stronger and who's weaker, and then kind of averaging it out, which there's another show that does that. It looks at the automobile market, and they have an actual app that they have written that literally can pull up any city at any given time and tell you, like if it's a Ford F-150, they can tell you how long that's sitting there and how much inventory they have. Because that's what you can use for negotiations if you know that all that information, right? But they look at the whole entire United States and they compare it. Last night they were comparing it between Orlando and Atlanta. And the market was totally different. One was sitting there, like in Florida, they were sitting there for 200 and some odd days. In Atlanta, they were sitting there for about 60 days. Even that is too long to have a car sitting, yeah, right? Inventory sitting on your lot, not being able to sell it. And the majority of the reason behind that is because the prices are so high. They have risen these prices. Jeep now wants to be in the luxury market. So if you go out and buy a Jeep Wrangler, you're going to start in at $60,000. And some of those things are up to $90,000, even $100,000. Jeep. But they have so much inventory on the market because no one wants to go and buy a $70,000 Jeep. I got off track there. What I wanted to say is that we have all of this information coming in, and you have to really weed through everything. And what I've started to do is when I see a writer or a blogger writing in the same mental capacity every day, I block them because it's not changing. They are so emotionally charged with their views that they're not looking at it as a pure business views. And that's the biggest obstacle that I have in developing content for this podcast. I like individuals out there or organizations out there that really do write a good article and they report the news. Those are the ones that I keep on my Flipboard because I can get good indication. Because what you do, if you're good at this, you take one piece of information and then I go out and I kind of see what other people are saying about that subject. And if they're matching up, and if I can look at the statistics, then I know that that's a good report, and that's one that I can share with you. But today, down in my show notes, I'm not posting anything because I didn't find anything worth posting. We're in the same situation as we were yesterday. We do not have a budget. We do not have a debt ceiling. We have a bill that's been passed by Congress, and it's before the Senate, and it's in the hands of the president, and they're supposed to be meeting. They were going to meet today on it, and they decided not to because their teams who are working on it in the background needed some more time. So they gave each other more time, and then I guess they'll sit down next week again and go over it. They say that they're getting very close to getting something done. I hope that is the case because we cannot let this go on any longer. I hopefully that the president realizes that in order to get a good number for a debt ceiling, that he has to reduce the cost of operating this country of ours. It's too expensive. I'm hoping that's the case. I say it every single day on Twitter that that's what he needs to do. The other problem that we're seeing as of last night is that our border down at the Mexican border is being overflooded. And we've got Haitians coming through. We've got Chinese that are coming through. We've got Pakistanis. We've got people from Venezuela, from Mexico, from Haiti, from Cuba. They're coming in from all over the place. And the reason why they're coming in, because they received the indication from the president when the president first took office that as soon as Title 42 ended, that the borders would be open. And that's basically the message that Biden sent. And so they have been waiting. They have been down at the border. They have been waiting in their hometowns. And now Title 42 last night went out of effect. And here they are, thousands and thousands and thousands of them down at the border. The problem that I see is that there is a bill that was passed yesterday on immigration that was sent over to the Senate. And of course, the Senate is sitting there again, wringing their hands and how awful it is and everything else. And the president has been saying stuff too. Now, here we have people who have been yelling, well, okay, write something for the border. Write a border policy. So as soon as one is written, they begin condemning it. And so we get nowhere. We're in the same situation. I'm almost of the opinion that Democrats love to have this border crisis going on because it is a campaigning and fundraising thing against the Republicans, because the Republicans are tough on border control. So we have politics taking over the subject of national security and the security of our borders. That's why I'm reading all of this nonsense, and everybody's coming out with all of this stuff. I mean, we have a clear law that if you come into the United States illegally, you are an illegal alien. That means you broke the law. You came over with the intent to break the law. You came over with the intent to stay here in the United States without going through the legal process. I was not happy with what I heard about this morning is that, luckily a judge stopped them, but they were processing all these people, but they were not giving them court dates. Now the court dates that were given out, now this is going to shock you, it's 2035. That's when they get a court date. How do you manage to secure a border if you have outlandish court dates like that, when they can say, I can stay here for 10 years, I'll get a job, and I'll wait until 2035, or I may not even show up, which is probably the latter. They don't want to show up, and they won't show up. And then babies are born here, and then they become a way for them to get legal citizenship here over years. They become anchor babies, is what they're called. So we have a government that is really out of control at the moment. They're not getting anything done for the United States citizen. You and I are in limbo. They don't want to address the issues of the economy. Instead, they keep making the economy worse. We have a problem down at the border. We have a national debt crisis at the moment that if the government goes into default, it's going to hurt a lot of people. So what do? I tell you, it takes a lot of faith now to survive, right? You got to say, I do not know what my government's going to do next. I don't know what bad decision that they're going to do next that's going to affect my business, going to affect my family, my church, my school. Because when these young children come in and they get into school, they have to have Spanish lessons because they speak no English. You also have an issue where we do not know what the health situation of a lot of these people are when they come over the border with tuberculosis or COVID or different strands of different viruses that are out there in other countries. We don't know. So this could very well be, and I predict it will be a health crisis because we are not vetting these individuals. We don't know what's in their bloodstreams. Well, listen, let's end it at that. It's Friday. Let's go out and have some fun this weekend. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about what businesses can do to survive and how to plan better for your business. So tune in tomorrow because I'll be right back here. I promise no politics tomorrow. No politics. If you have a business question, send it to thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. If you want to have a meeting with me and would like to have a confidential talk, go to www.lodge.co.com and you can schedule an appointment with me online. I love those kind of appointments. Talk with you soon. Thank God it's Friday. Love you guys. Bye-bye.